My name is Paul Revere. I got your horse right here. Hello. Welcome. My name is Ryan from Nights Around a Table. This is going to be a very exciting live stream. I hope, as long as you can hear me and see me. So I'm going to do a little bit of a tech check because I'm still very brand new to this. And this is how I actually learned how to program video games. I started with something very, very simple, and the next week, I was building a game every single week when I worked at YTV, I added a little bit of complexity. So that's what I've done here. I'm using a restreaming tool, a simulcasting tool called restream.io. Loud and clear, says Mikey B. Fantastic. Mikey B's coming to us on YouTube, but I'm also streaming this hopefully on Facebook and on Twitch. So wherever you're catching me, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the game that we're looking at. Check that out. The game is called Long Shot, the dice game. It's a dice version of a game called Long Shot. That's pretty obvious, I hope. But it looks radically different. If you see pictures of Long Shot, the original game, it's not. It doesn't have sort of cartoony pictures all over the place. Hi, Susanna. And it's very stead looking. You know, it's very stately and it's very Kentucky Derby and very refined. But this is just goofy, wacky, cartoony horses all over the place. I was commissioned to do a video for this game by Perplexed. So they paid me to do their how to play for their recent Kickstarter campaign. But I have to say, since then, I've played this game a whole pile because I really like it. I liked it when I got it. I didn't think I would either because I'm not into gambling. And it's funny, another company just recently commissioned me to do a game about booze, and I don't drink at all. So I'm not a drinker and not a gambler, and I hope somebody hits me up with like a smoking game next. But I had reservations, but then when I actually played it, I was like, wow, that game's pretty darn fun. So here it is. It's a Roland Wright game. And it's by the same company that did another game called Roland Wright, which is a game where you are making a Roland Wright game, which is weird. But I bring up Roland Wright because that's the name of the AI player, and he's going to be over here. So this is the board that Roland Wright, sort of the villain or the enemy player, is going to be controlling. And then the board that I'm going to be controlling is, there's a close-up of it. Oh no, it's not framed properly. You know what? I can make a slight adjustment there. We'll bring that over. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the technology. Cool. So what do we do? Well, check this out. So there's all these horses, numbers 1 through 8, and a couple of dice. So you've got a 6-sided die and a, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, what is that? 8-sided die, of course, right? Because there's 8 horses. And you line them all up at the post. This is the starting line right here. So horse number 1 goes here, and each horse has a card associated with it. So horse number 1 is called Chain Reaction, and you're going to find out why in just a second. Horse number 2 is called Make It Rain and lines up next to it. And horse number 3 is called Cook the Books and goes right here. Horse number 4, Mint Condition, right next to it. And horse number 5 is the green one. Bottom Dollar goes here. Horse number 6 is next, Miracle Worker. Horse number 7, Cheer Up Buttercup, goes here. And horse number 8, Nitro Nelly, goes here. So they're all lined up here, and they're going to be trotting around the racetrack. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is that the horse on the inside theoretically has a shorter distance to travel. And so that horse has the lowest odds against it. So if that horse wins, everybody expects that horse to win because it's got the shortest distance to travel. Now, those of you math or spatially minded people who are looking at this might be going, hold on, wait a second. There's the same number of spaces going around the track for horse number 1 as horse number 8. Yes, but there are other mechanisms that sort of rig the game in favor of the horses that are earlier in the lineup. So that's what's going on. The highest odds to win are down here on Nitro Nelly. So if you're going to bet on Nitro Nelly and Nitro Nelly actually passes the finish line, goes all the way around, passes the finish line, then you're going to get a way better payout on Nitro Nelly. And we'll see how that works in just a second. So this, I should say, I've got a little number pad over here and I'm going to be pushing buttons on it, but it's completely booby-trapped. And if I push the wrong button, it'll end the stream or terrible things will happen. So I'm a little bit afraid of this, but I needed multiple views. I needed to be able to go like this and show you my board a little bit more close up. The quality on this is a bit rough, I know, because the camera's zooming in. And the other thing I'll mention just before we start, and I'll show you more about the game, is that I don't have any Chrome on the screen right now. So I don't have the usual credit crawl for my patrons, and I don't have the topic, and I don't have the chat down one side of the window. And that's because, oh, I had such a good idea. I was going to do these long form solo playthroughs of games, and I was going to take the footage and cut it together in sort of like a quick zippy play-by-play with graphics flying around and box scores and a voiceover. And if you caught me in last week's live playthrough when I was playing Tiny Epic Galaxies, I put all that together. I messed up the first time. I actually had to play the game a second time because I was not as familiar with the game as I thought I was. It's not going to be the case today. But I took that footage just yesterday and I put it into Premiere, and I stared at it. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin to cut this play-by-play together. I've got 2 hours, 2 hours of footage, really 1 hour, because the first hour was me just messing up the game. But I got 1 hour left, and I honestly didn't know where to begin. So it's like a best laid plans of mice and men kind of thing. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to cut this footage together the way I envisioned it in a reasonable amount of time. But whatever, I'm trying anyway. Let me give the old college try. Here we go, long shot the dice game. I start with money. So I'm going to start just under here. You can't see it because here, let's go to this shot. I'm going to start with 12 bucks. Boom. And all of these boards are arranged so that you can scribble on them with your little dry erase marker. Very fun. And then over here, Roland Wright is going to start, hello please, there we go, is going to start with 20 bucks. So that's par for the course for a solo game, isn't it? Like the robot player has distinctly unfair advantages. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be rolling these two dice, and one die, that doesn't count, by the way, I'm just demonstrating. One die I roll is going to determine which horse moves, and the other die I roll is going to determine how far the horse that I rolled moves. So in this case, this test scenario, number 8 would go 1, 2, 3. But that's not all. Then we're going to check out number 8's card down here, and there's all these little, all the horses are listed at the bottom, and 2 other horses are checked off here. So number 2 and number 4, which means that horse number 2 and horse number 4 are going to be dragged along with horse number 8. So horses can kind of like pull or influence other horses. So one of the things that you're going to be doing in the game, I'm going to be doing in the game, is I'm going to potentially be taking an action that lets me check off X's underneath other horses' cards to make other horses pull my favorite horse along with them, if that makes any sense. This is my board down here. You won't be able to see my 12 bucks, but trust that it's there. So all of the horses are listed here, and sort of all the things that you can do are along here. And you look at the die that was rolled, and that's the horse that you can do stuff with. So we look across at number 8, we got helmets, we got jerseys, we can place bets on the horse, and then we can do this concession thing over here. So quickly, the helmet means that over here, if you see this line right here, this red line, this means that if any horse crosses that red line, that's the no bet line. And the horse is kind of like too close to the finish line for you to be putting bets on it because it's more of a sure thing. So once a horse crosses the no bet line, you're not allowed to put bets on it unless you check off the helmet on that horse, and then you can bet on that horse even after it passes the no bet line. Then we got the jersey. So what I just explained with putting an X on here, if you jersey, say if I jerseyed number 8, then I could look down at number 8's card and I could check off any of these horses so that whenever number 8 moves, it pulls the horse that I check off on that card. I'm going to erase that. And then what else have we got? We've got a bet, so I can place up to a $3 bet. You know what, I'm going to put my money up here. Let's do that because we can see it without me blocking it. So just pretend I've got dollars floating in the sky. That's my money. So you can put up to a $3 bet, and it's cumulative, so if you already have X number of dollars on a horse. Now at the end of the game, I mentioned the different odds on the horses. Notice that the odds on number 1 are much lower than the odds on number 8. So what this means is if I had a bet at the end of the game of $1 on horse number 1, and horse number 1 ends up in the winner's circle. So horse number 1 places first. Well, back here, that would mean I would take 1 and multiply it by the first place odds, 5. So I would get $5 for betting on horse number 1. Or, you know, same holds true for all these other numbers. If horse number 2 finished second, I would multiply 1 by 4 and get 4. If horse number 1 finished third, 1 by 3, and I would get $3. And it's all money, and at the end, whoever has the most money wins. But you're trying to beat, in the solo mode, you're trying to beat Roland Wright, who's over here doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Can you see that red outline? I hope not. Here, let's click out here. There, it looks a little bit better. So Roland Wright does all this stuff depending on which die is rolled, and whenever we see one of these icons, we're going to re-roll that horse die. And Roland's going to do all kinds of crazy stuff like buying horses, which I'll mention in a second, and placing bets on horses, and Roland Wright has more money than I have, and isn't that just the way? So the last couple of things that you can do over here, you can buy a horse, which seems really weird because these horses are clearly already on the racetrack. How are you going to buy the horse mid-race? Well, relax, it's a board game. So when you buy a horse, you pay the money that's up in the top right corner of the card, and then you can take that horse and put it in your little area. I think I'm going to be putting my horses up here in the top left. And each horse also has a special ability that you get when you take the horse. Some abilities happen right away, some happen on, you know, or triggered on certain conditions. And Roland Wright, I think, is very aggressive at buying horses. He's got a whole column devoted to buying horses. So we'll see how that works. The second last thing I can do is over here. This is called the concession stand area. And so if 8 was rolled, instead of helmeting it or jerseying it, I could just mark off one of these coins in the concession stand. And what happens is, if I eventually mark off an entire column or row, diagonals don't count, so ignore those, but a whole column or a row, I get to pick one of these prizes down here. So I can choose a $7 prize, I can make a couple of horses move ahead or back 2 spaces, I can make one horse move ahead or back 3 spaces, I can get a free bet, these both are 3 free bets, I get a free helmet or jersey action, or a free purchase a horse action. That's pretty cool. And then the last thing is that, like I said, you have to do something to the horse that was rolled. And if you ever get into a position where you can't, because everything for that horse is marked off on your card, or you don't want to, more likely, you have this option, which is wild horseshoes. Wild horseshoes could not drive me. My voice, by the way, I'm going to say might sound a little bit tired or froggy, and it's because I had some friends over last night and we sang karaoke. Ain't that grand? The pandemic is ending, and we're 2 weeks past the second vaccination, and we sang karaoke. So I tired myself out last night. Darn it. The horseshoes. So if you mark up a horseshoe, you get to do something with any horse that you want, even one that wasn't, well, particularly one that wasn't rolled. That's what it's there for. If you ever get to a point where all 3 of your horseshoes are marked off, and there's really nothing you can do or want to do with the horse, you can take an action just to erase one of these horseshoes so that you'll have a wild move for the next turn. I think that's all I have to explain. Look, that's a pretty quick explanation, right? So if you're playing this with friends, it's pretty zippy. What you start with is a card that lets you get a couple of free bets right off the top of the game and marks off a couple of coins in the concession stand. Let me know in chat if you're confused about anything. Can we take a moment to appreciate the 1920s bookmaker visor Ryan has on right now? Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I put so much effort into costumes. I saw this at the store. You know what? It's funny because I wanted to have this when I did the how to play video, and I thought that my daughter Cassie had one and she didn't, and I just shot the video, whatever. And then I was in the costume store the other day buying hats or a mask for some other video that I was doing, and I saw this along the wall. I'm like, oh my God, I want one of those. But I can't remember why, but I bought it anyway. And then this morning I was like, it's a bookmaker hat. I can use it for the horse game. Here we go. Mikey B says we should also bet in the chat. I agree. So like those things that you see on TikTok or whatever, where they're rolling marbles down tracks in the sand, man, pick a favorite. You don't have a board to mark off, and it's not the kind of game, okay, so it's not like Welcome to, if you've played the roll and write, the flip and write Welcome to, where we could all play simultaneously. This is a little bit different in that when the dice are rolled, if you're playing with multiple players, and you can play up to 8 in this game because there's 8 horses, if somebody rolled the dice, then the first player takes their action, and then you have to sort of step through and go around the table clockwise, and everybody does something. You know, you roll horse number 4. I do something with number 4. What are you going to do with number 4? What are you going to do with number 4? Da 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 da. And you go all the way around. The reason it has to work like that is because you can buy the horses, right? So the game wouldn't really work if it was a free-for-all and everybody did, and because there are, you know, prizes in the concession stand where you can move horses back and forth. It wouldn't work. There has to be a turn order to it. So this isn't something where you can go to BGG right now and download the mat and play along with me. I wish it was, but definitely if you've got a favorite to win, pick a horse now, or maybe pick 2 horses now, and those are your faves, and we'll see how you fare. Wondered what his caution would be. Did not disappoint. Well, thank you so much. That's good to hear. These cards I was mentioning, I'm going to pick one for me. That's going to be, no, that's rude. I'm going to pick one for Roland. That's Roland's card. And I'm going to pick one for me. Say this one. Of course, as usual, I have stacked the deck in my favor. Here we go. So when we flip this over, it's going to show just a couple starting concessions to mark off. So here, the number 5, I'm going to mark that off. That's the pink one. Number 4, down here, the red one. Number 1, and over here a number 3 is already marked off. And then there's a free $3 bet on number 2. So I'll put, and I don't have to dock my money any because that's a free bet off the card. And number 7 gets a $3 bet on it. And that's it for that card. That gets thrown in the garbage. Let's take a look at what Roland gets. Roland doesn't have a concession stand, so all that matters are the numbers that are on his bet card. So he's got a 2 on horse number 1. There we go. 2 on horse number 1. He's got a $4 bet on horse number 6. Ouch. Okay. And I said last week that Tiny Epic Galaxies was the first solo board game I ever played in my life. So this would be the second one. I haven't, you'd think that I would learn from past mistakes and try this myself, but I know the rules very well. I've been playing this game a whole bunch, so I think I'll do fine. But I've never played against Roland Wright, so let's see how it goes. Mikey B's listening for my humming when I drink water. Taking all bets, Michael says. Yes, I think, yeah, Michael and I played this very recently together. And it's the kind of game where you cannot help but do the 1930s radio guy voice. When you're, it's bottom dollar coming around the, you know, I just devolve into that by default. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. I'll just say hi to everybody else in chat. Is anybody else saying anything interesting? Yeah. So I hope that you've chosen the two horses that you're backing. Here we go. Ha. Whew. The first roll. I don't know why I'm so nervous about this part. Yeah. Hey, Homunculi Sue. All right, so I should have got that on camera, but it's an 8 and a 3, so that means that number 8 Nitro Nelly goes 3 spots. 1, 2, 3, and numbers 2 and 4 move with Nitro Nelly. 2 and 4. Boom. So I have a choice of what to do with number 8. Remember all my choices, and I think what I'm going to do with number 8 is I am going to concession 8. Boom, right there. I'm a heavy concessioner. That's the strategy I like to pursue. And then we go over to Roland over here, and it was a 3 and an 8. So we look at the 3 column and we go down to 8. Mark lead owned horses box on itself. So Roland doesn't own any horses, so because we can't really do this, it defaults and falls down to the asterisk. So place a free $2 bet on the horse in the lead. So that means that over here, the horse in the lead right now is number 8. So Roland gets a free bet. A free bet is that? Yes, place free $2 bet. There we go. Use Super Chat to place a bet, Michael says. You're incorrigible, Michael, but I love it. All right, so that was move number 1. Move number 2. It's going to be 3 and a 3. Again, somehow I didn't get the dice roll on camera, but number 3 goes 1, 2, 3. Cook the books, and Cook the Books brings along with it just number 1, chain reaction. So my choices are what to do with horse number 3. Horse number 3, I have pretty good. You know what? No, I'm going to concession. Boom, because that's almost an entire row for me. And then we check in with Roland Wright over here. So it was the 3 column and 3. mark all owned horses boxes on whatever we roll. So we're going to roll, mark all owned horses boxes on 2, but Roland doesn't own any horses. So we're going to have to go down to the fall through, place a free $2 bet on the horse in the lead. And the horses in the lead are number 3 and number 8. So when there's a choice between what Roland gets to do with the horses, you always go with the lowest numbered horse. So that means that over here, Roland gets a $2 bet on number 3. Look at that. It's almost like I researched the game and I know how to play it. It's amazing. All right, next roll. It's a 1 and a 6. So horse number 6, Miracle Worker, moves 1, and Miracle Worker brings with it horse number 2 and horse number 3. Horse number 2, boom, horse number 3, doo-doom. And I'm going to go over to my card. Number 6, number 6, number 6. Oh, look at that. If I mark off number 6, I get to concession something. So I'm going to mark off number 6, and that gives me an entire row, and I'm going to hit the cash prize of $7. So, and it's funny too, my math is extremely bad. Now I realize that playing this game in front of you, I have to do math in front of you, which is horrible. We're going to check in with Roland and see what column number 1 and horse number 6 does. Mark lead owned horses box on whatever we roll. Now again, I'm not even going to roll it because Roland Wright doesn't own any horses. So I'm going to look down at the default asterisk down here, and Roland just gets 3 more bucks. So we're going to increment Roland's money to $23. Remember, it's money to win. So Roland, 12 plus 7 equals... Oh, I have to math in front of people. It's the worst. Sisyphus has to roll the rock up the hill endlessly. I have to do math in front of people. It's my hell. Yes, 12 plus 7 equals 19. Of course it does. Thanks, Hyperion, yay. Underscore yay. I'm amazed that nobody else got on my case for that. Okay, here we go. How inevitably embarrassing. Number 5, whoops, number 5 and number 2. Number 5, bottom dollar, 1, 2, and number 5 drags with it numbers 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Now, here's the point where I would start looking at what these different horses do if you buy them and what powers they confer. So, bottom dollar says, at scoring, gain additional money equal to your bets on unfinished horses past the no bet line. At the end of the game, any horses that don't pass this red no bet line and you've put bets on them, you lose your bet. If they pass the no bet line and they don't end up in the winner's circle over here, you get your bet back, so you break even on your bet. And of course, if they win, then you multiply the money by their odds. And if you own them, by the way, you get, I didn't mention this, you get bonuses. So if your owned horse finishes in first place, you get $35, $25 for second place, and 15 extra bucks for third place. So, so what this is saying is that when it's time to score, bottom dollar gets additional money equal to the bets on unfinished horses past the finish line, which means instead of losing your money if horses you bet on don't pass the finish line, you get it back just as if you would if they had passed the no bet line. I'm not too thrilled with that power. I don't think that's super exciting or interesting. But let's take a look at the other powers, because I know that Roland starts gobbling up here. Let's take a look at his second column and what he does in his second column. He's placing bets in the second column, and in the first column, column when we roll a number 1 on that green die, he's going to be buying horses. So I feel like I should start snatching up horses before Roland gets a chance to. So let's take a look at the other powers and see what is the most useful. Horse number 1, when you complete a vertical column, mark any other coin in the concession stand. Horse number 2, make it rain. When you buy it, add a free bet to all even or odd numbered horses. Spectacular. I really like it. Mint condition, you may place up to a $2 bet on the rolled horse. It's okay. And number 3, cook the books. When you bet, instead, place a free $1 bet on any horse. That's okay. I had that horse in combination with another horse last time, and I did very, very well. Nitro Nelly, when you helmet, move the rolled horse 1. That's okay. Cheer up, Buttercup. When you bet, advance the horse the rolled horse 3 spaces if it's last or tied for last. I don't like that very much because it's really dependent Yeah, I don't like Cheer Up Buttercup that much. And the Miracle Worker, when you buy Miracle Worker, mark any concession, helmet, or jersey. Well, the clear winner in this whole batch is Make It Rain. And I should mention, this is a prototype copy of the game that they sent me to make the video. And if you backed this on Kickstarter, you would actually get they gave me 2 different decks of horses, and I think you get at least 1 other deck of horses. So there's at least 3 decks of horses, and they have little symbols on the top right of them. This is like an apple core, if you can't see it, and this is a gate. And it's designed so that you're supposed to play with all gate horses or all apple core horses. But I'm crazy, so I just went and shuffled them all in together and put them all on the table. So I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, if that's sanctioned, but that's what I've done. I like Make It Rain. So what I'm going to do is, instead of doing something with horse number 5, which is the horse that was rolled, I'm going to mark off this horseshoe. And that lets me do anything with any... Who's cheering for Buttercup? Susanna's cheering for Buttercup. That lets me do anything with any horse that I want to. So I'm going to do something with horse number 2, which is buy it. So Make It Rain costs 10 bucks. 19 minus 10 is 9. Correct me if I'm wrong. and then I'm going to take Make It Rain and put it over here. So when bought, add a free $1 bet to all even or odd numbered horses. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Would you add $1 to the evens or to the odds? I'm not too sure if it matters at this point. I've got an even bet and I've got an odd bet. So I'm going to go odds. So $1, $1, $1, and then I'm going to increase 3 to 4. So I think that's pretty good. Gambler's fallacy, Michael Todd says. Bet it all. Yeah, it's funny because I was playing with my my stepfather the other day, and I don't think he grasped the whole game or all of the different things that you could do in it, but he did know how to make bets. So the whole time, every single time a horse was rolled, oh, I'm placing a bet, oh, I'm placing a bet, and he just sapped all his money, but he had all this cash on all these horses, and I thought, you know what, that's a viable strategy. This is one of the things that surprised me about this game, is that there are multiple viable strategies. It's not one note. It's interesting and it's nuanced. There are different avenues to explore. Cooper says, yes, 9, correct. Need a calculator? Almost. Don't make fun of me. I'm a numerophobe. I really am, because the mistakes I make with numbers are frequent and embarrassing. Chain reaction to Bee Gees classic, says Mark. Did you see that speaking of the Bee Gees, you see that the Foo Fighters were covering the Bee Gees? They've got like a Bee Gees cover band now. Super weird. We didn't do the thing. I didn't do the thing with Roland. Oh, you're gonna have to remind me. So one, I guess that's a 2. Oh boy, rewind. Help me, chat. Who just moved? It was a horse I didn't want to do anything with, and how did it move? I wish I had the replay feature enabled. Let me know if you remember. Was it horse number 6? Did it go 2? Didn't go 2. Tell me if you recall. Think it was 5, I trust. Yes, it was 5, bottom dollar, because I didn't like 5's power. So you're correct. So how many did 5 move? It was 2. So let's go over to Roland. In column number 2, thank you very much for your help. Down, bet $2 on each of the 2 lead horses. And the 2 lead horses are number 3 and number 8. So Roland is going to get $4. Oh, no, gosh, that's the wrong one. On number 2, so, no, 3 and 8, I was right. $4 here, and on 8, another $4. Now, is that a free bet? That's not a free bet, so that means that Roland's money, I believe, goes down 4, so to 19. So Roland's at 19 bucks. The Foos are releasing a disco album. That's what we were asking last night at karaoke. Is it like entirely disco, or is it just a Bee Gees cover album that they're doing? Because I saw the You Should Be Dancing video, which is pretty cool. I don't know, let me know. I should pick one of the horses. Who should? Somebody in chat should pick one of the horses? All right. All right, here we go. I'm going to roll again. 6 and 3. So 6 goes 1, 2, 3. Miracle Worker. Numbers 2 and 3 go with 6. 2 and 3. All right, 3 pulls ahead. So I have the option of doing something with number 6. What do I want to do? I'm going to put a bet on number 6. And it's going to be a $3 bet. I have a good feeling about number 6. Number 6, $3. We'll go check over with Roland, column 3, number 6. Gain $1 for each X marked on lead horse. So the lead horse is number 3, and number 3 has 1 X marked on it. So Roland, I believe this is what it means, gains $1 and goes up to $20. That's not too bad. I can weather that storm. I think Buttercup is literally dead. Can I change my bet? Which one's Buttercup? Cheer Up Buttercup is number 7. This is the kind of game it is. There's even odds to roll any of the horses. It's a 1 in 8 chance for everybody. So I've seen horses that have just been like sleeping at the starting line come out of nowhere and pull ahead of everybody. You're like, what? That's crazy. Statistically, no, it's not, but it's fun when it happens. All right, I'm going to roll again. 3 and 3. So number 3, cook the books. 1, 2, 3. Did I place a bet on number 3? No, I didn't, and I should have. And number 3 takes along with it number 1. Roof right there. It may be time to buy number 3, but I can't afford it. Number 3 costs $8, and I only have $6. I would like some more money. Look down here in the concession stand, because that's really the only place to get more money. And both of my number 3s are marked off, so I won't be concessioning. But I think it's a pretty safe bet, actually. Safe bet to decrement the 6 to a 3 and change this to a 4. So now I've got a $4 bet on number 3. So column number 3 down to 3, and Roland marks all owned horses on boxes on whatever we reroll. And again, Roland does not own any horses, so I think what we do is fall down to this, place a free $2 bet on the horses in lead, and ignore the no bet line. Place a $2 bet, and the horse that's in lead is number 3. Cook the books. So Roland gets a $2 bet, so from 4 up to 6. Shazam! It's going well. This is going well. This is working. All right, let me roll. Number 8, Nitro Nelly moves 2. Blam, blam, and takes with her 2 and 4. Number 2, number 4. So that's my horse, Make It Rain, and mint condition coming along. Okay. So I got to do something with number 8. And number 8's not too bad. Look, number 8 isn't too far back behind the leader. So what I'm going to do... What would you do if you were me? Would you concession that 8? Would you? Would you place a bet on 8? 8 has the highest odds. That's crazy payout if you're able to bet on 8 and make it to the finish line. Also, 8 only costs $4 to buy. Now, I only have $3 to spend, so I can't buy number 8. I think I need to build up my war chest. So I think what I'll do, even though it'll take a little while, so I think I'm going to concession 8 just so I'm in a better position, because then I only have 7 left. 7 who's completely not getting rolled, as Susanna points out. Back to Foo Fighters info. Mark V says, as the DGs, a nod to frontman Dave Grohl's initials. Oh, that's very clever. Dave Grohl as the Bee Gees is called the DGs. The band will release an LP including 4 Bee Gees covers. Hail Satin. That's also a very clever name for an album. Mikey B says number 8's not going to make it. There's no hope for number 8. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Mark B says, we'll see the Foos take on the Gibb Brothers 1970s disco classics, Night Fever, Tragedy, You Should Be Dancing, and More Than a Woman. Interesting that they're not doing Stayin' Alive, which is, the hugest Bee Gees hit ever. But I don't know if they need to touch that one, man. That song's pretty darn good. Last night when we sang karaoke, Tragedy was one of the picks. I didn't sing it, but my friend Steve, who sang it, did a very good job at it. 4 Bee Gees, 1 Andy Gibb track, and the other side is live. Oh, is it live foos stuff or is it live disco stuff? We'll find out. Roll the dice. These poor people who just came in to hear the board game, they see the board game, like, I don't care about Foo Fighters and Bee Gees. Did I do Roland's thing with that? I got Michael Todd, who's in chat with you, told me all about streamer brain, where you get so caught up in making the buttons go and talking to people in chat and trying to strategize and run the game that you forget things. So tell me if I did. Here, we're going to write this down. So it was horse number 1, and 1 was the next roll. But the previous roll, it was number 8, Donut Dolly, and Donut Dolly moved how many spots? Do you remember? I keep forgetting. I mean, that's some major cheaty, isn't it? Like not letting the bad guy do its thing in a solo game. 8 and 2 for Roland. Thank you so much. Here we go to Roland. Number 2 down to 8. Player's highest bet. What does this mean here? The players. Oh, the horse that I have the highest bet on moves 2 spaces back. Okay, well let's check that out. I have the highest bet on 3 and 4, and we go with the lowest number when there's a tie. So I have the highest bet on number 3, which means that 3, cook the books, moves 2 spaces back. Darn you, Roland Wright. All right, that's okay. That's okay. Still early in the race. Horse number 2, that's mine, Make It Rain, goes 3 spots. 1, 2, 3, and brings along with it number 5, Bottom Dollar. Still, no action from Cheer Up Buttercup, sorry to say. So, back to my board. Horse number 2. I can do something with horse number 2. What do I want to do with horse number 2? I want to jersey horse number 2 to put... That means I can mark off an X on any of these horses, and I'm going to make horse number 2 jersey itself. So horse number 2, whenever it's rolled, Make It Rain is going to pull itself along with it, making itself, doubly fast. Not doubly fast, +1 fast. Okay, and then 2 and 3, so over to Roland Wright. I won't forget this time. Mark last place owned horses. Okay, Mark last place owned horses box, and Roland again still doesn't own any horses, so we're going to skip that and fall through down to place a free $2 bet on the horse that's in the lead. And the horse that's in the lead is my horse, horse number 2, Make It Rain. So a free $2 bet from Roland. This is making me nervous. We can't let Cook the Books win because Roland will get mad cash. All right, how are your horses doing? Deem Explains is in the house. All right. It's an 8 and a 2. Nitro Nelly goes 2 more spaces. Look at that. Nitro Nelly. Time to start placing some bucks on Nitro Nelly. Nitro Nelly pulls number 2, Make It Rain, and number 4, Mint Condition. Now you may be wondering already, if you concession and you get one of these prizes that make horses move ahead, like you think maybe like if the horse is near the finish line, can I use that to make the horses cross the finish line? No, the rule is horses can only cross the finish line on a roll or on one of those secondary actions where they got X's on the card. So you can't manufacture a win for your horse. 8 and 2. So my option is to do something with number 8, and I think it's high time, since both of my 8s are concessioned, high time to go down to $0 and put as much money as I can on number 8, because I think this is kind of making me nervous. Not nervous, but optimistic for Nitro Nelly. And Nitro Nelly, you'll remember, is paying out big odds if Nitro Nelly gets in the winter circle. Great. Let's take a look at the game board while I take a drink. BDM says, look, a chat. I agree, a wild chat appears. $3 wasted, says Mikey B. Mikey B throwing shade at Nitro Nelly, doesn't think she's going to get anywhere. Yeah, you could be surprised. Let's see. Did I do Roland's thing? Let me see, 8 and 2. 8 and 2 for Roland. No, I did not. So player's highest bet horse goes -2 spaces. Thank you for cluing me in while I took a drink. And my highest bet horse is number 3. It's not between number 7 and number 3, so we go with the lowest one. So again, number 3, Cook the Books, goes back 2 spaces. Egads. Number 3, Trips. There's an apple core on the racetrack or something. I don't know. Speed bump. I don't know what happened. Right. Rolling again. Yeah, if I forget to do a Roland action, please let me know. 8 and 1. What say you now, Mikey B? All right, 8 goes 1, and 8 brings with it 2 and 4. Boom, and number 4, mint condition. And back to my board. I can do something with 8. So I would have jerseyed 8, but my horse, Make It Rain, is already marked off here. And I'm not going to concession because both of my 8s are marked off on my concession stand. So my options are to helmet it so I can place bets on it when it crosses, if it crosses the no bets line. I don't know. What I should really do at this point is use another horseshoe, I think, and I should concession something so I can get further along here. And between, like, this is my most complete row, so between 2 and 6, I think, no, it's a 1 in 8 chance for either of those numbers to be rolled, but I have a good feeling about mine, so I'm going to concession 6. And then Roland, 8 and 1, so the 1 column down to 8. Buy horse. Oh boy, here we go. Buy horse. So whatever we roll, Roland's going to buy. 1. Oh man, Roland now purchases the most sought after chain reaction, the horse with the lowest odds to win, because it's the most likely that chain reaction is going to win. Now, chain reaction has an action on it, like a special ability on it, but Roland doesn't get to use horse abilities, so we don't have to worry about that at all. Great, back to it. Yeah, Susanna asks, is it pretty fun with multiple players? It is very fun with multiple players. I haven't played a full 8-player game, but I hope to in a couple of weeks. I think I've capped out at 5 or 6 players. It gets a little tiny bit plodding, I find, only because unlike Welcome To, where you can't just, everybody goes simultaneously, here you have to step through each and every single player. And if people aren't on the ball, you're like, Joey, what do you want to do with number 4? And Joey's like cramming chips into his mouth and not paying attention. So that can hold it up. But if people are like devoted and they're committed to seeing how their horses do, it can be very, very fun. And it can get to like edge of your seat, half stand up, yell and scream. Again, they're not paying me to do this stream, but I will put out that the Kickstarter is done, but if you want to back this, they've got a late backing option on the Kickstarter page. Great. 2 and 6. Number 6, Miracle Worker. Goes 2 and brings with it number 2, You Make It Rain, and number 3, Cook the Books. Number 3, Disgraced Cook the Books, who's tripped 4 spaces already. So number 6 and number 2. Number 6 and 2 spaces. So I can do something with number 6. Both of my 6s are already concessioned. So really all I can do is I can jersey it or helmet it. And I don't want to jersey it because number 2 is already on there. And if I helmet it, it just means I can place bets. So I think what I'm going to do is use my very last wild card right here in order to concession 2, which gives me this entire row here. And I'm going to take the money because I am anemically underfunded. And there's my next $7. The last time we played was just last weekend, and it was really fun because I was playing for the first time, I think, with gamers. I brought this out. This is great. As you can imagine, it's a great filler game, and it's easy to bring out with people who aren't super into board games because it's really easy to teach. So you can play it with kids, and you can play it with maybe older folks who don't like their games that complicated. But this past weekend, I was playing it with gamers. And whereas I use these prizes a lot to get the extra money, this is the only really way you can get extra money during the game, they use the spaces really vindictively to send each other's horses up and back. And there's all kinds of tripping and acceleration going on the track. And that was really, really fun to see. But I'm playing it safe. I'm going 7. So Roland Wright, 6 and 2. So column number 2, the 6, free $1 bet on each owned horse. and Roland owns number 1. So Roland gets a $1 bet on number 1. That's not too bad, but you can imagine if Roland had tons of other horses, it would be quite a mess. So Susanna says, oh, Mark V says, I am Roland Wright. No, you're not. Kubrick says, confusing. I don't know why. I'm probably not following something in chat. Who invited Joey? I know, right? Joey ate all the chips for starters and then didn't clean his hands and is getting Cheeto dust on the games, which, you know, is cardinal sin of board games. Susanna says, you know what I'm noticing? It looks like with the shuffled horse cards, 7 doesn't draft on any of them, hence the DOA. That's interesting, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they say... They don't immediately say to combine the 2 different types of cards. Remember, we've got 2 different decks combined here. 7, you're right, does not draft anywhere, which is probably why 7 has been at the starting line. So if this was the card draw and you were playing, the smart money is not on number 7, unless that was like your strategy. You're like, I know, I'm going to put a pile of money on 7, and then any chance I get, I'm going to jersey 7 and mark it off in a whole pile of cards. So you could be, you know, you could be clever that way and notice that deficiency and exploit it. 7 is on none of them. That's because Ryan doesn't like your horse. That's not because Ryan doesn't like your horse. I don't know. I think it's too late. I think it's like mid-game now, so it would be too late for me to deploy that strategy, and I'm not smart enough to have noticed what you noticed. Well, let's just continue now. I feel good about Make It Rain, and really what I want to do now that I got $7 is I want to try to either unlock this last prize here and get my money up and buy a couple more horses, or no, that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to buy a couple more horses. All right, 3 and 8. Wow, that's Nitro Nelly. 1, 2, 3, and brings with it 2 and 4. Yes, 2 and number 4, 1. Okay, so number 8 and number 2 are rounding the bend. They're almost past the no bet line. So this is like one of the last chances to put a bet on either of them without helmeting them. One thing I should notice too that I haven't should mention that I always forget whenever I teach this game. If you have, I'm going to mark it, but I'm going to erase it. If you have a set of jerseys and helmets for a horse, that's going to earn you $5 extra per pair at the end of the game, which ain't nothing. Which ain't nothing. I think the last time I played this game, I applied that strategy and did really, really well. Can't remember if I won or not, but it's not a bad plan. Okay, so I get to do something with number 8, Nitro Nelly. So it might be a very good idea to helmet Nitro Nelly right now, just in case Nitro Nelly gets really close to crossing that finish line and I can just sneak in a few extra bucks, because that multiplier is massive, right? It's a ×9 multiplier if Nitro Nelly finishes first. All right, back to chat. Did you rig that D8? No, I did not rig anything. We're way past the odds on rolling an 8 so many times, right? No, we're not past the odds on rolling an 8. So there's a 1 in 8 chance of any horse being rolled. So 8 doesn't have any particular advantage. The only advantage, like you pointed out, is that, you know, different horses have different X's marked on them. And that's the only thing that's going on, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an equal number of spaces around the track, equal odds for rolling a horse. Let's go over to Roland's board and see what Roland does on column number 3 down to 8. Mark lead owned horses box on itself. So here, the lead owned horse, the one that's like farthest along the track, is number 1. So we're gonna mark number 1 on number 1, which I don't think is gonna do much for Roland, but we'll see. Rolling the dice again. Number 1 goes 2. Look, wow. I spoke too soon. 1, 2, and number 1 drags along with it number 1. So that just benefited Roland quite a bit. And number 6 also goes. Shoom, Miracle Worker. Is anybody betting on Miracle Worker? Didn't see too much chatter. Down here I have the option of jerseying number 1, helmeting number 1. I can place a bet on number 1, but I kind of want to save my money to buy at least one more horse. I think buying Nitro Nelly would be the apropos thing, except that I can't because Nitro Nelly wasn't rolled and all of my horseshoes are taken. But in anticipation of being able to buy Nitro Nelly, I'm going to erase this. That's going to be my move. I'm going to erase one of my wilds so I have it for the next turn so I can buy Nitro Nelly. And then over to Roland Wright on column 1, looking for, column 2, number 1, bet $2 on the lead horse. And the lead horse, number 2 and number 8 are tied, so it's going to be $2 on number 2. So we're going to go up to $4. And it didn't say free bet. So that means that Roland goes down to $18 total. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Here we go. Place your bets. Cheer for your horse. 7 and 1. Ah! Cheer up, Buttercup. Goes one spot and brings with it number 1 and number 3. Oh my gosh, against all odds. Cheer up, Buttercup, who's been asleep at the post this entire time, has now awakened like Achilles emerging from his tent to completely kick Trojan butt all over the racetrack. Possibly. We'll see what happens. Down here, number 7. I don't want to do anything with number 7. No offense, Susanna, but what I want to do, like I mentioned, is I want to use my horseshoe and decrement my money. 7, $4 down to 3, and purchase Nitro Nelly. I think that's a wise move because Nitro Nelly is so close to winning. But like, who knows? For the rest of the game, we could roll all these other horses. So Buttercup flushes and walks. Yeah, totally. Buttercup was weighed down a little bit, but Buttercup's doing okay now. Yeah, no bets on number 6. Yeah, no bets on number 6. Yeah, do I have a native bet? I do. Look, I had like a gimme bet off the top on number 6 of $3. But I mean, number 6 is your horse. Number 6 isn't doing too badly. Number 6 is still tied for 3rd. Not terrible. Over to Roland. Column number 1, and we did horse number 7. Yeah, buy whatever horse we roll. Okay, here we go. Roland buys number 4, mint condition, $8. Did I decrement Roland's money for buying chain reaction? I don't think I did. Tell me in the chat, but right now I'm going to decrement Roland's money for buying mint condition, which was $8. So 18 minus 8 is 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know if and I'm just going to double check the rules really quickly because I think that when Roland buys a horse, Roland's money gets decremented. Yeah, he spends his own money to buy horses. No, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I thought. So instead of $10, chain reaction costs $10. So Roland's going to go down to $0 now. Roland has no money and 2 horses. That's the situation right now. All right, and it's time to roll again. What's not a wise move? Buying number 8. So much shade. What did Nitro Nelly ever do to you, Mikey B? All right, here we go. Oh, number 1 and number 3. So chain reaction, which is owned by Roland Wright, goes 3 spots, blam, 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 and brings with it itself. Oh, pulling right, tied. It's a dead heat for first place between chain reaction, make it rain, and Nitro Nelly. Oh my word. Oh, and number 6 as well. Goes 1 spot. Whew, whew, this is getting spicy. All right, down to my board. What can I do? Oh man, it would be smart to bet. Would it be smart to bet on Roland's horse? It's not a whole lot of money for doing that. I don't know if that's a clever play or not. It's think time. I have a $1 bet on Roland's horse. So if Roland's horse wins, I get $5 out of it. Fine. If I sink all my cash right now and put a $4 bet and Roland's horse wins, I get 20 points. That's a big gap from 5 to 20. That's a 15-point gap. If I'm doing my maths correctly, and I hope to God I am. So that, that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. What would you do? Would you bet on Roland's horse? And what's Roland's situation? Roland's got $3 on his own horse. So if his own horse gets first, he'd be getting $15. So that would close that gap. If I put $3 more on it, then we would each get 15 points from here. Can't wait to check your math, DM Explains. I know DM Explains. I'm probably messing it up terribly. That's That's interesting. But that's all like supposing if horse number 1 wins, then I'd be able to close that gap. I'm going to do, wait, let me just double check and see what Roland does on this turn. 3 and 1. Mark lead on horse's box on, yeah, that's not, yeah, that's going to make 1 go even faster. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to decrement this down to 0, and I'm going to increment this to a 4. So now I've got a juicy bet. So that'll eradicate that 15-point lead he would have on me if nothing else changes. If the horse, that's a lot of ifs, right? If the horse wins, and if he doesn't put any more bets on it, that's a tricky one. And now I have $0. Okay, but let's see. Let's go back to Roland. So what did we say was going to happen? Mark lead on horse's box on whatever we roll. And what we roll for Roland is going to be, oh, look at that, number 7. So that means that Roland's horse that's in the lead is number 1. So we go down to card number 7, we mark number 1, and it's already marked, which means we can't do that. So we fall down to here, place a free $2 bet on the horse that's in the lead and ignore the no bet line. And the horse that's currently in the lead are these 3, so we pick the lowest numbered horse, which is number 1. So that 15-point difference that I was trying to make up is now changed because Roland is getting 2 more bucks. So from 3 up to 5 on horse number 1. Let me just check. Mark, all right, free, it's a free bet, so he doesn't have to pay any money. Whew. Okay. Let's just take a little breaky poo. I'll let you study the board. Think about it while I hydrate. Here we are. Okay, I want one of you in chat to bless the dice. Just give it a little blow. Here we are. 3 and 1. Oh, look at that. Chain reaction goes 3. 1, 2, 3. Crossing the no bet line. No more bets on number 1. No more bets on chain reaction. And chain reaction pulls chain reaction along with it. It's almost at the finish line, folks. And also number 6. Oh, whoa. Holy Mackinac. Is that a hockey thing? I don't even know. So what are we going to do with number 1? No more money left. No more wilds left. So that's as much money as I can put on there. If I concession, it would be no big deal. If I helmet or jersey, I don't know if that's a huge deal either. But you know what? I think the wise move is to helmet number 1, just in case I'm able to unlock one of these prizes and put more money. And in case, oh, there's a lot of ifs. And if the horse doesn't cross the finish line, at the very least, I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know. Let's just go to Roland's board, and we're looking at 3, column 3, and number 1. Mark lead on horse's box, and so we've already seen that we. Let's just double check if that's true. The lead on horse. Oh, right. So we have to roll this. So we're going to mark number 1 on horse number 7's card, which is exactly what I rolled last time. Horse number 7's already marked off, so we can't do that. So we're going to fall down to the asterisk, place a free $2 bet on the horse in lead. Oh boy. Oh boy. So from 5 to 7. 5 to 7. This is no good. I got to get more money on number 1. Holy cow. All right, time to roll again. Think happy thoughts. Yeah, that is some good HTO. Have you tried this stuff? This is amazing. It's tastes like two hydrogen molecules to every 1 oxygen, and it bonds. It makes this. It's like it's watery is the one disadvantage, but it's quite delicious otherwise. Well, technically there's no flavor. 4 and 2, making really dumb jokes. Number 4 and number 2. So number 4, mint condition, owned by Roland Wright, goes 2 spots, blam, bazam, and also takes with it, yes, oh, number 2, no more bets on number 2. Number 2 crosses the finish, the no bet line. Number 2, make it rain, pulling ahead. Anybody else? No. All right, back to my board. Number 2, I think with no money to spend, I could concession, but it just seems like such a long road to get there. what I'm going to do is helmet number 2. So at least I get that $5 bonus for doing that. And that allows me to bet on number 2, even though it's past the no bet line. Fine. Let's go over to Roland. Maybe I should have checked what Roland was about to do before I did that. So column number 2 down to number 4. Free $2 bet on whatever we roll. So we roll a 1. And so Roland gets a, oh my God, a 1. Why? Why a 1? Roland gets a free $2 bet on 1, bringing that up to $9. So really now what I'm thinking is, I would love to be able to unlock the prize that knocks Roland's stupid horse back 3 down here. Ay. Atoms, not molecules. Look, I can't even tell a science joke properly. Nah, math and science, just avoid. All right. Oh, number 7. Oh my gosh, look at Susanna. This is cheer up, Buttercup. Goes 2 spots. Blam, da-dam. And oh no, look, that puts number 1 chain reaction past the finish line, which makes chain reaction in first winner's circle, first place horse, giving Roland a $35 advantage over me. And number 3 also goes up. Oh, I did what I could. I'm glad that I got this bet in on there, because that would have been, I mean, already it's devastating. I'm going to have a lot of catch up to do. And what I should do, I just noticed is that if I am able to mark off this concession number 7, man, if I had only done that a little bit earlier, that gives me a column and I'm able to mark off a prize, and I have no money to bet with or anything. So I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I might have taken one of the fallback trip horse spots. And then over to Roland Wright, number 1 down to 7, buy horse. So 7, oh no, we got to roll for that. Whenever we see that symbol, that means we got to roll. So Roland is going to buy, but Roland has no money. So I think what that means is, even though Roland rolled a 6 to buy that horse, I think what it means is if Roland is unable to buy the horse, we fall down to this and Roland gets $3. I think that's how that works. It's a very exciting day in our household today, by the way, because both of my daughters are headed off to get their second shots, and that'll make the whole family double dosed. I'm pretty, thumbs up, Cass. Cass is just off camera. Ready for it?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, good attitude. And it's tough too, right? Because you don't know how sick you're gonna be after you get the shot. So we're preparing to have both kids in bed all day long. Weirdly, when I don't know how it was for you, but when I got my second shot, I was, I booked the whole next day and a half off, and I had stuff next to my bed and books ready to read just so I could spend the whole time in bed. And it was fine. Like nothing happened. I didn't get sick at all. Let me know how your second dose, if you got it. Hopefully you got it. Let me know how your second dose went. Right, here, back to this. Mark's got to go. Thanks for joining us, Mark V. Speak soon on the Discord. Yeah, see you there. If you don't know, we got a really great Discord server, and a lot of the folks that you see in chat right now are on there, and we're playing games together all the time. We're talking about board games all the time. Let me throw up the, hopefully this works. Technically, it doesn't. Oh, yeah. Oh, but it's behind my thing, so you can't even see the address. Discord.gg/MJMajeff. I'll fix that for next time. So join us on that Discord server if you can see that tail thing. And you can find that, if you go to YouTube, you can find that at the bottom of any of my videos in the description. It's there. It's not hard to find. If you're on Board Game Geek or if you're on the Guild, it's there. It's all over the place. So hopefully you'll be able to find us. And we're back to horse racing. Okay, so my big hope, if numbers 2 and 8 finish and wind up in the winner's circle, I'll be doing just fine. Look at that, number 2. Look, I put it out in the universe, and number 2, Make It Rain, is going to go 1 spot, and it's going to take with it number 2 itself, because I had jerseyed it before, and number 5, Bottom Dollar, comes along with it. So there's hope. There's hope. And then over here, I get to do something with number 2. I could, because I've helmeted it, I could put a bigger bet on it. And I think that's a pretty good idea. So I'm going to crank up my bet. That goes down to 4, and crank my bet up to $6 on number 2, Make It Rain. I think that's a pretty safe. I could have concessioned, but I don't like. Yeah, it's kind of a long. Oh, yeah, it's a long road. I don't want to do it. All the money's gone here, so there's interesting prizes. But let's see what Roland does. Column number 1 down to number 2. Mark last placed own horses box on whatever we roll and get $1. Okay, so what are we going to roll? Roland rolls an 8. So Roland's last place horse is number 4. So we're going to mark number 4 on Nitro Nelly, and it's already marked. Does that mean that Roland doesn't get the buck and we fall through down to this bottom spot on the logic? Let's just go to the rule book and check to see the wording of the rule. Let's see. If that action cannot be taken, Roland takes the default action at the bottom of the column. And I think that action, the whole thing can't be taken. So I think we're going to fall down to the bottom, and we're on column number 1. Did I even read, was I reading the right column correctly? Yeah, 1. We just did something with 2. Oh no, it's a 1. I wasn't even reading the correct column. So this is the correct column. By lowest number unowned horse. Huh. The lowest numbered unowned horse is number 3, Cook the Books. But Roland Wright cannot afford that horse because it costs $8. Roland only has $3. So let's fall down to the very bottom. Roland gets an extra $3. Fine. Fine. 6. So, shot issues. Yay for vaccines. Deem explains second dose was fine for me. Yeah, it was fine for me too. I was really surprised because the first one ruined me. The first one I was flat on my back for, it was a day and a half. Susanna says I was just exhausted after shot 2 for 24 hours. Interesting, I didn't have that. Mike B says I'm feeling fine as well, but let's wait until tomorrow for a final verdict. Did you just get yours, Michael? Did you just get your second shot? Is that why you're saying you're feeling fine? Or what did you book off a whole week expecting to be sick? I don't know what's going on. DM Exciting says his wife was fine, but she's had hers since January. Yeah, a lot of folks in the Discord are or have spouses who are in healthcare stuff, so they get theirs a lot earlier than the rest of us. Homunculi Zoo is all in on number 7. Really though? Really? Cheer Up Buttercup is your choice to win? I don't know, man. That's remind me not to invest in any venture you're embarking on. Michael says I also got the shot. Yeah, you got the shot 10 hours ago, so maybe your arm's going to fall off later tonight. It's possible that does happen. Also, I should have better Wi-Fi now, shouldn't I? Yeah, because the 5G signals that they inject your arm with internet, if you didn't know, and autism. So you should be able to get more internet, but I think all it means is that you're going to be really hyper-focused on just part of it and counting cards like Rain Man. I don't even know. I've experienced far better 5G connectivity since you got the shot. That's one huge advantage. Autism, bit of a drawback, and it's really interesting too because, as you know, if you go into a grocery store having had both shots, you're shedding that 5G internet connectivity to people, and they don't want it. They're not cool with that, with getting 5G infection from you. So just be respectful, of course, and stay away from those people. If anybody gets upset at you for shedding 5G/autism on them, then give those people distance for respect. Rice, oh my God, so he says, my second shot just left my arm more sore than the first one. Yeah, my arm was very sore too. I don't know, man. I started seeing the Windows icon everywhere I looked, like it was embedded into my eye. That's what they were after. Cheryl says, don't feed into that. Don't feed into the stories. So ridiculous. Shedding. Oh my Lord, it's like chemtrails. I've lost the plot. What are we doing? Horse number 8. What happened? What happened again? Did we roll this? No, we did that for Roland, right? So I'm going to roll the dice. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're looking for number 2 to cross the finish line on this roll. This will be it. I don't think anybody else is excited about Make It Rain, but let's see how it happens. Oh, it's not Make It Rain at all. It's number 4. Mint condition goes 2 spots, blam, blam. And mint condition, oh, look at this, takes number 2 with it, jagoosh, and no, I misread it, just number 2, but that's very, very exciting for me. So back to my board, number 4. Number 4, I don't have any bets on number 4, and that's not going to change. But look, I think the best thing of all of this is to concession number 4. Over to Roland's board, on column number 2, down to number 4. free $2 bet on whatever Roland rolls. And Roland is rolling a 2. Oh, uh-oh, that's no good. So Roland gets a free $2 bet on the horse that I'm hoping will win very shortly. Goes up to $6. Those are some pretty big bets for Roland. You check it out. And if you compare against my board, so a 9, that's going to be devastating. A 6 and a 6 and a 4 and a 4. And then over here, I have a 4 and a 6 and a 4. A 1, 3, 4, 3. I don't know. My money's more spread around, but remember, only 3 horses go into the winner's circle. And I'll just re-explain how that works. If your horse does not, if a horse you have a bet on doesn't cross this no bet line, you lose your bet. It's wasted money. If a horse you bet on crosses the no bet line but doesn't cross the finish line, you get your bet back, so you've broken even. And if a horse you've bet on crosses the finish line, then you multiply the bet by the odds, wherever in the first, second, or third place. And the lower number horses have lower odds. The higher number horses have higher odds. That's how it works. All right, here we go. Yes. The excitement, the thrill. How many? Yeah, 3 horses have to cross the finish line, Michael, before it wins. Michael's always like, when does it end? When is it over? It's number 7, Cheer Up Buttercup, goes 2 spots and brings with it number 1. And so number 1's already in the winner's circle, and number 3 goes with. Back to my board, I can do something with number 7. If I concession number 7, that gets me a vertical column, and I can take prize. And I'm going to do that. And the prize that I'm going to take, so I can't use any of these things to move my preferred horse forward, but well, not number 2, but what I can, here, let me get you the board. What I can do is use one of those prizes to get, I think that's the best option, is to move Nitro Nelly up as far as I possibly can, because man, if Nitro Nelly crosses that finish line, I stand to gain serious money. And Roland Wright also has, if you can't see that, that's a 4 that Roland Wright has on number 8. But I think, you think I got a row too? I got a column though, not a row. So oh, what did I just do? Number 7. I was up here in the second one. So I think those were already done. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat, of course. Okay, so I'm going to take this +3 horse prize. So that'll be no more bets on Nitro Nelly, but I have the helmet on Nitro Nelly, so push comes to shove, I can put more bets on Nitro Nelly after this happens. Boom, boom, boom. So for everybody else, no more bets on Nitro Nelly. That's it, unless you've helmeted Nitro Nelly. So we'll go over to Roland Wright, column 2 down to number 7. Players, that's me, players lead on horse goes back 2 spaces. Oh no, it's terrible. 1, 2, oh, that's awful. But they're so far ahead of the pack. I don't feel too bad about that. All right, here we go. Oh, number 8 goes 2. Look at that. And number 8, Nitro Nelly, finishes 2nd in the race. Shazam, fantastic, that's great. I think that I can't do the math right now, but I think that my owning Nitro Nelly makes up for Roland Wright having one more dollar bet on Nitro Nelly. So he's going to get 4 times 8, what is that, 30, 8, 60, 32? $32, and then if we go to me, I'm going to get, at the end of the game, 3 times 8 is, hold on, wait, I can 24. $24. Yeah, that's a gap. But then my prize here is going to be $25 for getting Nitro Nelly into the winner's circle. So, okay, pretty good. Pretty good. Over here, column number 2, horse number 8. Player's highest bet horse goes back 2 spaces. Evil. So my highest bet horse is going to be, or currently is, number 2, and it's going to go back 2 spaces. Foul, foul, foul. But it goes back behind the no bet line. So I think that means, like, technically now, if it goes back, I think you can still put bets on it. Interesting. Susanna says, I'm not a math girl at all. Maybe you're enjoying seeing me sweat. So we've rolled an 8. Nitro Nelly doesn't do anything. I think, I'm going to double check, but I think that we still do stuff with number 8, even though number 8's in the winning circle. Roll that, do-do, boo, boo. That's how I've always played. But it just dawned on me, like, do you re-roll if the horse is already in that? No, because you can still do other stuff. So what I'm going to do is you can't place bets on a horse that's already finished. But I am going to jersey number 8. And it won't matter me marking off an X on number 8 because number 8 is not going to move anymore. But all that does is that gets me an extra $5 at the end of the game because I have the jersey and helmet set. Right. Down to Roland. Column number 2, horse number 8. Player's highest bet horse moves back 2 spaces. Again! Number 2 goes back 2 spaces. That's awful. Right. See what I mean, though, right? Like, you would have thought that number 2 was a surefire winner like 2 rolls ago. Number 6 goes 1. Number 6, Miracle Worker, 1. And number 6 brings along with it numbers 2 and 3. Number 2, number 3. Down to the board. Number 6. I'm not going to bet on number 6. I can't concession number 6 because both of those are taken. I think what I want to do, just because this is a bit of a lull, is I'm going to erase one of these wild cards. And we're going to go over to Roland. Column number 1, number 6 says, mark lead-owned horses box on whatever Roland rolls. And what Roland rolls, is going to be a 4. So once more, mark lead-owned horses box on. So the lead-owned horse is number 1, but that's already across the finish line. So assume we're going to do number 4 on number 4. Blam, blam. All right, back to rolling. Number 3 goes 2. 1, 2, and number 3 brings with it number 1, who's already in the winner's circle, so we ignore it. Over here to my board. I can't concession. I don't want to place a bet. I could do this. So what I'm going to do, I think, but number 3 is about to cross that no bet line. And Roland has big cash on number 3. $6. Ooh. Oh, yeah, did I miss one? Yellow should move 1 space further ahead. Somebody back up DM Explains and say yes or no. You didn't do draft moves with that 8. Since 8 is already in the winner's circle and doesn't move, I believe we don't draft because number 8 doesn't move. I believe that's how it works. Let me just double check here. If the rolled horse has finished the race, it does not move, is the first instruction. But it does go on to say move all the drafted horses or the X'd horses on the rolled horses card. So maybe I've been playing that wrong the entire time. Even though the horse that won doesn't move, the horses that are marked on that horse's card go. So, okay, let's play like that. So what that means is I missed numbers 2 and 4 on that 8 roll from before, like you mentioned. And what did we just roll? Number 3, cook the books. Right, 1's not going to go. So if the first 8 you rolled to take it, okay. Nope, when it crossed the line in the first place. So tell me if I'm missing another. Does 2 go 1 more? 2 and 4 go 1 more because I rolled 2 8s? Let me know. But I compensated for at least 1 forgotten one. Mikey B says, didn't you tell us there would be no rules issues? I thought so, and then it's funny. You get 90% of the way through the game, and you're like, wait, I've been playing that all wrong this entire time. Fantastic. It's harder than it looks, let me just tell you. So back to my board. Would it be apropos to put... I'm going to match, you know what? I'm going to match Roland Wright's... Oh, but that's all the money I ever get for the rest of the game. It's $4. Huh. That's tricky. That's really tricky. But if I match Roland Wright's bet on number 3, I erase his advantage. So I think, yeah, we're almost done. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a $2 bet on number 3 just to just to equal Roland's $6 bet on number 3. Okay, here we go. Yes, please let me know if I've missed a horse movement here. Number 6 goes to Miracle Worker. Moves up, boom, boom, and is now past the no bet line. No more bets on number 6, Miracle Worker. And Miracle Worker brings with it numbers 2 and 3, number 2, number 3. And there is a tie for 3rd place currently. Down to my board, number 6. I think I'm just going to start collecting helmets and jerseys since I've got the 6s already crossed off here. So let's go helmet first because 2 is already marked off on Miracle Worker's card. So we'll go helmet. Remember, it's $5 if you collect a set of helmet and jersey. And Roland in column number 2 down to number 6. Free $1 bet on each owned horse. Evil. And Roland owns numbers 1 and 4, so that's $10. Is that even though the horse has crossed the finish line, do you think? Do you think Roland gets a bet on a horse that's already won? Or is that one of those actions that Roland can't do, so we fall down to the bottom? I'm going to put that to chat. Let me just look at the language where it talks about putting bets on horses that have already won. Let me look at the place a bet. This has never come up before. Okay, so in placing a bet, mark a $1, $2, or $3 bet on a space that matches the rolled horse. Reduce your money. If there's a bet already marked there, increase it. You cannot bet on horses past the no bet line unless you have a helmet. You can never place bets on horses that have finished, including free bets. It says including free bets. So I think that means that Roland cannot do. We'll take that back to 9. And since Roland can't do that, we're going to go, we were in column 2. So we're going to go down to advanced horse with highest bet 2 spaces. That I think we can do. So the horse with the highest bet, I like this, is going to be number 2. Excellent. Blam, blam. Well, thank you, Roland. That was very generous of you. Okay, this has got to be it. This has got to do it. Think happy yellow 2 numbered thoughts. Oh, look at that. It's 2. It's a 2. It's a 2. And Make It Rain crosses the finish line and goes into the winner's circle. Here are our 3 winners, and these horses are losers. Complete and utter losers. All right, here's how the end happens. I'm going to do, should I do Roland's first or should I do mine first? Let me do mine first. I don't know what's going to be the most climactic. And I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to just sneak my mouse in here and move, oh, not that. I'm going to move my little picture-in-picture window to up here. There we go. Look at that. Oh, technology. So I'm here. So here's how it goes. The very first thing is you collect money for any horses that you had in the finish line. So the horses I own are number 2 and number 8. And this is going to be the math part. Oh, by cracky. Help me if I do this incorrectly. So that means I get $25 and $15. So that's $40. Correct me if I'm wrong. $40 that I'm going to mark down here. And we might as well go Roland. Roland is going to get $35 for having his horse in the winner's circle. So $35 for Roland. Why didn't I not bring a calculator for this part? Okay, fine. Down here, the next one is for any combo of helmet and jersey that you get $5. So I had 2 helmet and jersey combos, so that's $10. And Roland does not have that option in his scoring box, so no good. So back here, the next one is bets. So this is one that takes a little bit more doing. So numbers 1, 8, and 2 ended up in the winner's circle. So number 1 was first place. So 4 times 5 is, so we multiply the bet, which is $4, by 5, the placing, the first place. So that's going to equal $20 right here. And number 2 ended up in third place. So 6 times the third place odds. 3 times 6 is 18. So far, so good on that math, I hope. Number 3 didn't finish, but is also past the no bet line. So what that means is I get my bet back on number 3. So I get my $6 back. Number 4, I have no bet. We'll put a 0 in there. Number 5 sucks, so that means that I lose my bet, so 0. Number 6 ended up past the no bet line, and I have a bet on number 6, which means that I get my money back on number 6. Number 7 is all the way up here and didn't go anywhere. Sorry, Susanna, I know you were rooting for it. So I'm going to lose that $4 on number 7. And then finally, hopefully the big money, number 3 finished second. So 3 times 8 is 24. $24 down here. Now, welcome to my nightmare. I'm going to add all that up with the benefit of a calculator. Hold on. Now you can see how my numerophobe broken mind works. So here we go. And I'm not even going to look at chat as you all shout numbers at me. 20 plus 18 is 38. 38 plus 6 is 44. 47. 67 plus 4 is 71. Is that right? I'm gonna show it to you again. If you got a calculator, calculate it all up and let me know if I got it correct. While you're doing that, I'm gonna switch over to Roland's board. Screenshot it or something. I don't know. Right over here, the devastation begins. Roland's horse, number 1, finished in first place. So that's going to be 9 times 5. So 45 big old dollars in here. Hey, 71, I did it. Yay! Yay! Okay, cool. Number 2 finished third, and Roland placed a $6 bet on it. So 6 times 3 is 18. Already these numbers are looking bigger than my numbers. Number 3 crossed the no bet line, which means that Roland gets his bet back. So he gets that $6 back. And then 0 bet here, 0 bet here. Down here to number 6. Number 6 also crossed the no bet line, so Roland gets his bet back. So that's $4 back. Nothing doing with number 7. And then number 8 finished second. So 4 times the second place odds. 8 is going to be 32. 4 times 8 is 32. Is that correct? This is 8 and 8 is 16. 16 and 16 is 32. I think that's right. Because if I mess one up here, I'm not going to be able to do the rest of it. Okay, here we go. Here we go with calculators in hand. Whew. Breathe, Ryan. 45 plus 18 is 50, 60, 63. I hope. That's 69. And that's 73. And that's 105. I think. Again, 105. Yes, DM Explain says it's 105. Fantastic. So 105 points. This is already looking like a complete murder. 105 goes in here. Cash on hand is going to be $6 for Roland. And then over here, it's going to be, wait, I got to put in my bet number here. My bet money is $71. My cash in hand is $2. So 40 plus 10 is 50. 50 plus 71 is 121. 123, which I think is already lower than what Roland's got going on. Over here, 35 plus 105 is 104 plus 6, 146, making our final score 146 to my measly 123. And that, the aristocrats. No, I don't know. That's the game. That's how it works. And that's the first time I've ever played solo, and maybe that's the first time you've ever seen the solo mode played, or maybe that's the first time you've ever seen Long Shot, the dice game, played. Tell me, we'll just do a little bit of a wrap-up. Did you back this? Were you interested? Did you put money to it? Did you not? Are you interested now that you've seen how it plays? I think it's fun. Like I said, I've played it a whole pile of times since Perplex Games sent me this prototype copy, and I was quite pleased and quite impressed with it. It gets a little bit mathy at the end, though, doesn't it? But everybody's got a calculator. Yeah, like our teachers said, when you grow up, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket all the time. Oh, teachers. late backed it watching. Oh, DM Explains likes the way it works. Yeah, I think it's really neat and really really clever. And like we said when we played just last weekend, Michael Todd and I played, and we're pretty impressed with the fact that there are different paths to strategy. You could go, you know, buy a whole bunch of horses and use them for their powers. Oh my gosh, you know what? Speaking of powers, you know what I wasn't doing this entire time? Let me put this over here. Nitro Nelly has a power that I was just ignoring. Whenever I helmet, I move the rolled horse +1. I didn't even notice that that was even there. Whoops. I might have done slightly better. Yeah, Michael, I agree. I wouldn't buy this game just for solo. But it's definitely one, it's as far as filler games go, it's one that we've busted out time and time again, where it's like, you know, do we really have time to play 5-player Terraforming Mars? And then I look at my BG stats app and I'm like, what? How long did it take us to play it last time? Oh, 7 hours. Okay, yeah, we might not have 7 hours, but we do have 1 hour. And like any other game that lists the playtime on the box, what do these guys say? They say it's going to take 25 minutes. That's a lie. It's not 25 minutes at all. And of course, it depends on the number of players you have. It's weird that they have 25 minutes regardless of the number of players, because like I say, it goes in order around the table, and obviously the more players you have involved, the longer the game's going to take. I don't know what my stats app says, but I think it's between 40 minutes or an hour that this game takes when you're playing with multiple players. But it's fun. It's fun. We're gonna play games in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna definitely take this with me. It's kind of wherever I go. It's also nice. It's a nice little like small format thing. I have found though that now this is just a prototype copy. The markers that were included might be crummy, but a couple of them have dried out already, so the markers didn't last very long. But again, that might be because it's a prototype copy, or it might be because dry erase markers just stink and they don't have a long lifespan. I don't even know. Mike B says he didn't back it. It looks fun, though, right? He says he wouldn't buy it just for. Are those scores comparable to multiplayer? Yeah, yes, they are. For 146 is pretty darn good. I think the last time I played, I got, maybe Michael Todd, if he's still here, can remind me, 130 something. So yeah, cracking 100 isn't a big deal. But what's neat about playing against a computer player is you kind of like get a sense of where I think the game designers expect your score to be. So if you're like chugging along going like, yeah, I can clear 70 points in Long Shot the Dice game, no problem. And then you go and play against Roland Wright and go like, oh, damn it, 146, I gotta up my game. So it gives you an indication. And the other thing that I think is interesting about solo gaming is you can improve your own game by looking at what the robot player does. You know what I mean? So if the robot player buys a lot of horses, then obviously that's a pretty viable strategy. The robot player places bets here, buys horses, and increases bets. So, but doesn't have the concession thing here. So this is like a player advantage thing that maybe I should have availed myself of more. I do a lot when I play multiplayer. I use a concession a whole pile, especially at the beginning of the game. I build up a big war chest, and it's often a race to buy the horses that have the best abilities. I don't know, pretty neat. I like it. You just realized I'm left-handed, and that is why I mispronounced Catan, because as you know, all Southpaws don't know how to say Catan properly. Catan. Great. Any other questions? No, I don't know. I think that's good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next live stream, which I don't know when it's going to be, and I don't know what it's going to be on, but I have a feeling that the very next one is going to be devoted to Eagle Griffin Games, who back at Christmas time sent me this whole pile of games to open, unbox, and play and talk about and share with you, and I haven't touched a single darn one of them. Nor have I touched my Christmas presents. I got Le Havre and On Mars, which is another Eagle Griffin game. So the next live stream that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have all those Eagle Griffin games out in front of you. And if you are a Patreon backer with voting privileges, you already voted a few weeks ago on which of those games from Eagle Griffin Games you wanted me to open on that live stream. And not only that, I have a special hat for that live stream too. So please tune into that. Probably, this weekend if you're around, I'll do that. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will catch you in the next episode. did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.